whenever you're ready.
Let's go. Let's go for it.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Aaron Miller. I'm one of the rabbis here at Washington Hebrew Congregation. I feel so lucky to be joined by our latest and most wonderful cantor, Suzanne Hamstra. Also on guitar tonight, which is new and exciting, Matvey Sigalov. Thank you for being here, as you so often are. It's wonderful. And Chris Barrick on percussion as well. So we've got quite a team up here and quite a congregation out here. So welcome to Washington Hebrew. Let's just take a minute. I've introduced us in a short little while. For you to introduce yourselves to each other. You know each other, you love each other, but just to wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Share your name. Share also the best thing you've done this summer. This is our last Shabbos in August. Best thing you've done this summer. Name, best thing you've done this summer. You know each other? Can I introduce you? Yeah? You're both wonderful people. You should meet. Yeah.
Never seen him before in real life.
Yeah. Name and best thing you've done this summer.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And those conversations will certainly continue at the Oneg after the service.
That's right.
But for now,
But for now, we are excited to welcome all of you, but especially we have B'nai Mitzvah family for next weekend, but still extremely exciting for this Friday night. So I'd like to call Ari and Kelly to come forward, Julie, I'm so sorry, to come forward and to lead us in the lighting of our Shabbat candles. All right, this is the humbling part, so you just have to. Who's good at matches? I'm so sorry, Julie.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Amen. If you can read that in English for us. Oh.
There's a sticky tab on it. You can't lose it.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Beautiful. Thank you. Good
Amen.
Shabbos.
Thank you.
I know you guys can
Good
take a seat.
Shabbos
I'll
and
take that.
Mazel Tov.
So yeah, good Shabbos. So we're going to continue with our prayer of joy, our prayer of celebration, our prayer of newness, which every Shabbat marks a time of newness. Every Shabbat marks a time of new time ahead. And so for the new song that we sing on page 12, let's sing and join together in Lechu Neranena.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria letzuri sheinu nekadma fanav betoda. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria letzuri sheinu nekadma fanav betoda. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz.
At the bottom of page 13.
Yiram hayam umelo. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam umelo. Yadadai, 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 Adonai Eloheinu
Bottom of page 17.
Lehar Kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
So we're going to continue on page 20 with L'chadodi. We're going to be joining in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Come verse 9, we're going to rise. We're going to face the doors through which we entered. And invariably the person who comes in late. But before we do, I want to just turn to verse 2 for a moment. I want to turn to verse 2. The last of days, Shabbat is described, the last of days for which the first was made. We discover in the L'chadodi that creation has an order, that creation had a plan, that things were thought through, that things were sequenced, that there was a goal at the end, and that was Shabbat. There was a goal at the end, and that was Shabbat. What's the goal at the end? Right? What is that which you strive for? What is that which your life is oriented around, focused on, going toward? What is that thing for which everything else adds up to? Shabbat is that moment to reflect on what that thing is, to reflect on the vision, the direction, where this whole thing called life is headed. And we don't do this once a year on Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. We do this week after week after week. And maybe, just maybe, week after week after week, come the end, we might get there. And so we're going to join together in L'chadodi 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Let's pick it up and all sing a little louder. L'chadodi likrat kala. That's more like it. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'diboreh. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet ve'lit'hila l'chadodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila l'chadodi likrat kala. Adonai, alayich nigla lechadodi. ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We're going to continue together as we turn to page 28 and join for our prayer of coming together. Baruch Hu.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
We're going to continue on page 31 together. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. And we continue with our prayer of love, Ahavat Olam, on page 32.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Amen.
Please be seated. And we continue with the Ahafta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We're going to be joining in our people's prayer of redemption, our prayer of freedom. I want to share a reading. This is at the bottom of page 41. The bottom of page 41. Salvation is the Jews' victory over human limitations, ignorance or sensitivity. It is the conquest of sinfulness, of the evils resident within the self, pride, selfishness, hate, lust, cynicism, the deliberate rejection of goodness and truth. We think so often that freedom is about being in a place, a physical location where we don't want to be and going somewhere else. But what if freedom happened first, freedom from within? What if first we were free from those things that have kept us who we are longer than we ever wished or hoped we would? What if we could be free from those sometimes deepest parts of ourselves, and then truly know what true freedom can be? For that freedom, for the freedom from within, let's join on page 40 and sing Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We turn the page as we join in a prayer of shelter, a prayer of protection, a prayer of God and on this Shabbat one another, watching over us. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. We're going to be joining on page 42 with most of the prayer here. There's also going to be English that is not a part of the prayer on the page if you're familiar with it. Mazel tov. If you are not, come next Shabbos, you will be. All right? So we're going to join together.
And either way, when there are words you don't know, Yai Lai Lai sounds really Jewish.
It sounds good. Right, that's it.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, 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 l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over all of us, all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. We turn to page 44. We know, and it's okay to get up and dance if we need to dance sometimes, even after a quiet one. We know that the day of Shabbat, this holiness of Jewish time, has kept us as a people throughout the centuries. And so each Shabbat, we take a moment to remember that, to be grateful for it, and to acknowledge and embrace it and celebrate it. And so we turn to page 44 for Vishamru. As you keep your people Israel, your people keep Shabbat and keep you ever present, Adonai. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We're going to continue on page 46 together, but first, just a reading that brings us into this moment. We're going to be standing in a minute, not yet, we're going to be standing in a minute for this Amidah, for this standing blessing, for this prayer so important that we change where we are, we change our position from seated to rising. On page 47, I'd like to share that prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. And if that is what you need this Friday night, let's rise together and pray.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai,
Page 48.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, Le'man shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Days pass and the years vanish, page 53, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our days with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. We're going to turn to page 55, and we read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We are going to take this moment, as we do every Friday night here at Washington Hebrew, to celebrate. Summer's almost over, but there's so much to celebrate. If there has been a joy, if there has been a simcha, if there has been something in your life or the life of someone you love that is worth celebrating this Shabbat over the past week or so, share it with us. Joys, simchas, celebrations from last week. Now's my time to stop talking and hear from you. Yes. Yeah. Oh, really? You all get Cantor Hampshire and me. Your daughter gets Lady Gaga. We'll bring her by sometime. That's fantastic. Other joys, other simchas, yes?
We got to see my sister Libby from Illinois and her visit in the spring.
Mazel tov, Lynn. Mazel tov. Other simchas, joys, yeah?
My brother is in medical school, and he got to fly out to Louisiana from Texas on a helicopter to do a transplant.
Oh, my gosh. Oh my gosh, okay. All right. I just have to say, one of my joys is just seeing these three over here. I don't know if you've been paying attention. This is the cute corner. Happening over here. I love it more than words can share, more than words can say. Other simchas, other joys. Has there been anything happy in your last 7 days? Yes, my friend. When is it? It was last week, and it's gone well? You look like a first grader or a second grader, is that right? What? How old are you? You're in 4th grade, this kid. Amazing. Well, and many, many more. Wonderful. Other joys, other simchas. Yes? Welcome to Washington, D.C. from Boston. I also moved from Washington, D.C. from Boston for another time. Other simchas. Welcome. This is wonderful. Wait, what part of Boston? In Cambridge, Massachusetts. I've heard of it. Yeah. Good. Other simchas. Yeah, Kim. This much, right. Any other simchas, other joys? Yes, please. Welcome to Washington Hebrew. Welcome to Washington Hebrew from Northern Virginia. I'm glad you are here. Glad you're here. Wonderful. Maybe we got time. Another joy, another simcha? Yes. You're closing us out.
Special grandson who's 20 and he's starting his second year of college.
Terrific. Second year of college. And many more. Well, 2 more. 2 more years of college. There you go. Good. We're going to join together on page 55 at the top of the 59. At the top of the page, and we're going to read together. God of goodness. Let's all read together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. And also we know that that there are many people here with joys, and there are also many people here with struggle and with incompleteness. There are those here in our congregation tonight, you all, and people you love certainly, who are in many ways in need of healing. And so for the many ways that healing we pray might come, we're going to turn to page 253. Our congregation, of course, prays for the healing of Laura Lovinger. And if there are any other names that you would like to add to this list, I'm going to look around the room, and I invite you to share their names with us as my eyes meet yours. Page 253 in the middle of the page.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
In just a moment, we're going to pause for silent prayer. But before we do, I'd like to share a reading on page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people Israel with peace. We're going to pause now for a moment of silent prayer and then join back together on page 62 with Yehiyu L'Ratzon.
Legion libi lefanecha, Yehiyu the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai. You leratzon, imrefi, vegion libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, vegoali.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. Good
Shabbat
Shabbos.
Shalom.
Has anybody ever been on a vacation that was just kind of a bust? Just kind of a bust? Yes, I see everybody. Okay, good. So it's not just me. We were looking forward to this year. We have friends who we love to travel with. We have in the past just rented a big house in the middle of nowhere, and it's been great because we cook and we drink and the kids play. It doesn't really matter where you are. We're together, and so we have a great time. Until those friends get COVID, and they can't come with you. So this happened 3 days before we left, and so my wife and I, we packed up our two girls, and we slept I'm not going to tell you where, but we slept all the way, took all day to get there, and we arrived, and we asked the woman at the checkout, at the checkout at the Food Lion, right, checkout person. Anyway, we asked her, so what do people do around here? And she said, well, there's this beach that's like 30 minutes away. You can go there. There's a hike, though, it's a 20-minute hike. There's a beach. But honestly, my friends and I just go to D.C. when we're bored. God, we're not going back to D.C., but we did go to this beach. It was schleppy, it was far, but we needed something. We have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. We needed something. So we get to the beach, we arrive, and it is beautiful. There's cliffs on either side. There's this really amazing, it's like a mountain stream that's going into the water. The kids are so excited to finally start swimming, and my 7-year-old daughter looks down on the water. Jellyfish. Oh my gosh, thank God, jellyfish, right? That was our trip. In a nutshell, that was our trip. And by the way, that's this week's Torah portion. We are so excited to get into the Promised Land. We're so excited after the schlep, my goodness, 39 years of wandering through the wilderness, not much to do, suffice it to say. We're about to enter into the Promised Land, and our Torah portion, Parshat Re'eh, it is positively giddy. I've never seen a Torah portion so excited about the Promised Land, because time after time after time, well, I'm just going to read this to you. This is looking ahead into the Promised Land. Together with your households, you shall be happy before Adonai your God in all of the undertakings which Adonai your God has blessed you. That's just one verse. I'm going to read you a few more, all from this week's Torah portion. You will be happy before Adonai your God in all of your undertakings. Terrific. That's a lot of undertakings, all of them. Another verse. There will be no needy among you, since your God will bless you. Last one for now. Your God, Adonai, will bless all your crops and all your undertakings, and you shall have nothing but joy, my friends. That is the Promised Land. Until you get to a verse. There's a verse in our Torah portion that makes you scratch your head. Because in the midst of all this bounty and abundance, we have a verse that teaches, every 7 years you shall remit all debts. Every 7 years you shall remit all debts. Who's in debt in the Promised Land, right? Who is in debt in the land of milk and honey and grapes and figs and pomegranates and bounty, the likes of which we had not seen in the past 39 years wandering through the wilderness, and certainly over the past 400 years when we were slaves? Who is in debt in the Promised Land from which debts need to be remitted? Now, I'm not a financial guy. I'm not here to talk finances here, but I am here to say that a remission of debt is a letting go, a release of a debt, a release of a debt. Who needs to be released of debts in the land of milk and honey? And maybe this is not just for our ancestors some 3,000 years ago. Maybe this is about you and me, right? Because unless you work for a credit card company or a bank, people don't owe you financially, right? That's not what we're talking about here. But each of us, each of you, you and I do this, right? The people who are closest to us, they owe us. Right? We have this bean counter in the back of our head. I got some beans here. We have this bean counter in the back of our heads. All of us do. All of us do. I don't know if you could see. All of us do. This is you, and this is them. And here's how that bean counter in the back of your head works, right? When you show up for, when they're sick in the hospital, right, you give a little bit to them. When you call them on their birthday, or even better, show up. Terrific. You get them a really nice Hanukkah present, and they only write you a card. Great. Terrific. You take them out for dinner. They never take you out for dinner. You know what I'm talking about, right? You give, and you give, and you give. And that bean counter in the back of your head is saying, wait a minute. There's an imbalance here. Right? That voice in the back of your head says, wait, I've given so much. What about them? Is this just me? Tell me this is not just me. Right? Right, exactly. Right? What about them? Now, this is a challenge, right? Especially, I see this I do a lot of marital counseling and premarital counseling. I see this with young couples. Right? You meet somebody and they're smart and they're funny and they're good looking and they're nice and they're kind until you realize that they don't put away the dishes, right? Until you realize that pile of laundry is going to stay there until you do something about it, right? And so you do something about it because you're a good and generous person. You do something about it, but wait a minute, right? What about them? And the problem with being a good and kind and generous person, as you all are, I know most of you and love you, right? The problem with being a good and kind and generous person is that you start giving so you become close to someone or someone's. You start giving so you become close to someone. But after a while, your gift can become a debt. After a while, your gift can become a debt. And when your gift becomes a debt, that debt can lead to distance. Not closeness, but distance, right? So how do you make sure that your giving brings you back close together again, right? So this week's Torah portion is not just talking about the remission of debt. We have an unusual financial exchange. We have the giving of a tithe, right? We don't talk about tithe. That's not really a good Jewish word, but I want to use it for now, right? The premise of a tithe is that if you are holding on to 100% of what you have 10% too much. Or to put it another way, you de facto owe the world something that you have not yet given. You start each day in a deficit. It probably shouldn't be this imbalanced, right? But it should be like this, right? You should be giving more than you receive. That is what tithing is. That is what tzedakah is. You should be giving more than other people are giving you. And so instead of counting, making sure that the chores are all 50-50, instead of making sure that your partner is doing their fair share, assume that you will give more than they ever will. And just imagine if they assume the same. Now, there are some debts that are big. I heard a story just this week about a father who gave his son a kidney. True story. Father gave his son a kidney. Some debts are huge. Some of you may have put a hold on your career so your partner could pursue theirs. Some of you may have raised a family in a city like where we vacation, where you would have never wanted to, but that's just worked best for your circumstances, for where you are. Some of you have worked 80, 90 hours a week just to make sure that your family could have what they needed. Some of us, maybe all of us, right, have given and given tremendously. The question is that a gift or is that a debt? And if it has become a debt, maybe, just maybe, now's the time to let it go. Now is the time to let it go, not because you want to, but because there are some debts that can never be repaid. And are you going to hold it against them forever? Is it going to be a source of distance for you and for them forever? What would happen if every 7 years you let it go? Or what would happen if every 7 days you let it go? That's why we're here. That is the message. That's the coming together. That's the closeness of Shabbat itself. And so I want to share with you, actually I want to share with you a prayer that I saw my parents share with each other. My mother happens to be a marital therapist, and my dad is a rabbi, so this prayer is this perfect intersection of family unity and Judaism. But I saw them share this prayer with each other. They've been happily married for over 45 years. And my wife and I share this prayer with each other every Shabbat as well. I'm going to read you the second paragraph. It's a 3-paragraph prayer, but listen to this. Help us to be modest in our demands of one another, but generous in our giving to each other. May we never measure how much love or encouragement we offer. May we never count the times we forgive. Rather, may we always be grateful that we have one another and that we are able to express our love in acts of kindness. And so if you are sitting next to someone who you have ever at any point shared a roof with, if you are sitting next to someone right now who you've ever shared a roof with, I'm going to read this again. I want you to scoot a little bit closer to them, right? I want you to hold their hand. I want you to hold their hand. And I'm going to read this one more time. Help us to be modest in our demands of one another, but generous in our giving to each other. May we never measure how much love or encouragement we offer. May we never count the times we forgive. Rather, may we always be grateful that we have one another and that we are able to express our love in acts of kindness. You are good people. You are generous people. You are giving people. Giving, if done right, can make you closer to each other and not further. And if you are able to start each day in debt to the people you love, and if they are able to start each day in debt to you, that is how life becomes closer again. That is how life becomes connected again. That is how families and couples come together and reunite and reconnect. And I pray by starting each day in deficit to those who mean the most to you, that your love, your relationship, what brings you close and what makes life meaningful can grow and grow and go from strength to strength. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom. And so, we're going to continue with Aleinu, with our prayer, looking ahead to a future brighter than our past. As we turn to page 282, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל העמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. As we near the end of our service, we of course take this time for a moment of memory as we call to mind those laid to rest in this season in years past. Our congregation remembers Beatrice O. Abramson, Beatrice Edelman, Arthur A. Adler Jr., Nicholas Adler, Harvey Barsha, Ruth Basson, Ruth Golub Berkman, Lily Bernstein, Mo Besson, Joseph H. Biben, Ida A. Bindeman, Asa Babis, Catherine L. Bressler, Jacob Brock, Nathan Berman, Rose Berman, Eli I. Chiat, Abe Cohen, Moritz A. Cohen Sr., Augusta Desoff, Shirley Graf Fishman, Andrew R. Freeman, Sandra Berkman Frum, Harry I. Graceman, Samuel Greenberg, Stanley M. Haas, Karen Hart, Irving Stanley Herman, Estelle P. Herzog, Claire E. Kaplan, Max Kelson, Ira Kern, Nora R. Kilsheimer, Dorothy Kipnis, Sadie Klein, Alvin A. Kraft, Maisie Lynn Laskin, Sue M. Levy, A. E. Lichtman, Sella Littman Lipsitz, Paul S. Livingston, Herman Loeb, Benjamin Loss, Helen Manheimer, George Marks, Benjamin Samuel Meyer, David Marblestone, Sarah Mopsick, Sylvia Orkland, Louise Perlman, Saul Perlman, Evelyn Perkins, Penny Pollard, Sylvia Post, Sarah Ravitch, Cullen J. Recht, Maurice Rodman, Morris Grudnai, Leonard Safran, Rose Safran, Hannah Solomon, Samuel L. Samuel, Gertrude M. Schloss, George Schwartz, Sam Schwartz, Jacob Shapiro, Carolyn Sherman, Mary Sinker, William Sinker, Bernard Snyder, Arthur Henry Stein, Mary Steiner, Charlotte M. Tisch, Edwin G. Warren, Malka Wolf, William Robert Wolk, Irving Jurgen, Philip Youngentop, and Ivy Jane Zola. We, to this list of names, call to mind those who've been laid to rest more recently and who are ever present in our hearts and in your hearts at this time. We remember Arthur Udall Riven, Stu Goldsmith, Miriam Fogelman, Jane Mary Connor, Louis Nevins, Norma Lee Funger, Michael Schechter, Irving Warshaw, and Robert Mendelson. We add to that list as well Jonathan Deutsch. To those names, if there are names that you would like to add or names that you are holding in your heart, I invite you to share those names with our congregation as my eyes meet yours. We rise as we turn to Kaddish Yatom on page 294. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach Hirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael B'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ba'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the one who grants comfort on high grant peace to us and to all who mourn, and let us together say, Amen. Please be seated. Please be seated. Do you want to do announcements? Okay. I can do it. Come on.
I can do it.
My voice. Okay, good.
Thank you for being with us this Shabbat. As summer is winding down, there is lots coming up. So check your emails for all of the everything and check the WHC website. But a couple of highlights. Mark your calendars for Friday, September 9th. It's our Welcome Home Shabbat this fall and a fall engagement fair. This jam-packed evening includes a Tot Shabbat, dinner, Shabbat service, consecration for our new religious school students, time to schmooze and reconnect with all the ways you can be involved with life at WHC. High holidays are just weeks away.
Oh, boy.
So don't wait to order your tickets. Members should have already received an email with the links for your tickets just to reserve them. Non-member tickets can be purchased on our website, whctemple.org/HHD. That's High Holidays. If you have any questions, call the main number at the temple during business hours. And very, very importantly, the weekend of October 14th, please come and celebrate the career of our Rabbi Emeritus, Bruce Lustig. We have an interfaith Shabbat service planned for that Friday night here at Temple and a community brunch planned for that Sunday at JBSC. To learn more and register for these and other events, check the website, whctemple.org, read Life at WHC, look through the journal, et cetera. There's just a lot coming up, and it's great. Every Shabbat, we increase our joy by reciting Kiddush, and this is a moment where we remember the miracle of the Exodus from Egypt and celebrate our freedom at Washington Hebrew Congregation, and the power, Excuse me, I just jumped a line. We also use this moment in our service to remember Cami Lorne Nathanson and the power each person has to make an impact on our community and to change the world for the better. As we celebrate the milestone of a bar mitzvah for Hayden Baranoff, we invite him to join us on the bima, along with any other kids who may be here, to help us with Kiddush.
Beautiful.
May the vision of these young people give us strength, pride, and hope for a brighter future.
Hayden, here you go. Perfect. We got some littles. Good.
Excellent,
Yeah, come on up, guys.
All right.
My fourth grader. Come
Hayden,
on,
I'm
that's
going to come on your other
crazy.
side and bring over the mic.
Okay.
Oh, he doesn't like it up here. Okay.
It's better to be up on Dad's
Will you
shoulders.
stand right next to our cantor? Thank you. All right.
Ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with the mitzvot in love and favor. You made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You choose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Amen.
Let's join together. We're gonna do the quick Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Thank you for joining. Mazel tov.
Mazel
Mazel tov.
tov. Yes, you can drink it. It's grape juice.
Take a sip. It is certainly grape juice. Oh boy. Thank you. You guys, you can take a sip.
Yeah.
You can take a sip. If anybody from Cambridge can take a sip. Yeah. Take a seat. Thank you for joining. Thanks for being here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you guys. And we are going to, Eli already did. Eli, thank you so much. Brought us our challah. Oh, thank you, my friend. You did great. All right, good. And we're going to join together in Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avot.
The brother of our bar mitzvah boy next week. Thank you. Can you bring this back to Jaylee? Thank you so much. Great. And we are going to conclude our service as we turn to page 24, Shalom Aleichem, a prayer celebrating not just that Shabbat is a good time, but a holy time, and that holiness surrounds you and me on our journeys to and from these sacred spaces. Shalom Aleichem, and let's sing.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nila Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nila Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלאכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Adonai Yishmor Zeitecha Uvoecha Me'atav Ad Olam. May God bless us in this moment and every moment forth. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. Thank you for joining. Good Shabbos, everybody. Can you go, Matfe, could you play? News at Washington Hebrew with new senior rabbi with Sue Shakeman. I just realized I forgot to say something. This is such a celebration, such a joy. All right, good Shabbos. Have some brownies. We'll all celebrate together. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.